The civil law and the common law traditions. Legislatures make laws by enacting bills, which judges must interpret and apply. If legislation is deliberately vague or inadvertently ambiguous, judges can choose among several different interpretations. Sometimes the choice of an interpretation overshadows the enactment of the bill, in which case the judge makes the law more than the legislature. Judges make law by interpreting legislation in all legal systems with independent courts. Judges make law in other ways as well. In medieval Europe, the king in most countries could issue pronouncements that were law, and the king's courts possessed similar powers. However, the king's courts were not free to pronounce as law any command that they wished. According to one tradition in legal theory, the courts of the English king were to examine community life and find law as it already existed. The courts of the English king were to select among prevailing social norms and enforce some of them. These enforceable social norms were supposedly the laws of nature, which reason and necessity prescribed. The finding of a rule of law by a court of the English king created a precedent that future courts were expected to follow. Superscript 1 reads, precedent refers to the practice of resolving similar cases in a similar fashion. If it is known that a court is going to resolve a dispute by applying precedent, then the disputants have a good idea what the legal resolution of their dispute might be. And this can induce the disputants to settle the matter themselves against the background law that they know the court will use. Returning to the text, a precedent in common law resembles a generally accepted interpretation in civil law. Precedent was followed flexibly, not slavishly, so the law changed gradually. Over many years, the king's courts found many important laws, especially in the areas of crimes, property, contracts, and accidents, torts. These findings are called the common law because they are allegedly rooted in the common practices of people. Common law is still applied in English language countries, except where superseded by legislation. Legal history is different in France and the other countries of Europe. When France revolted at the end of the 18th century, the revolutionaries thought that the judges were as corrupt and worthless as the king. So they killed the king and extinguished his laws, thus abolishing the common law of France. A comprehensive set of statutes was required to fill the void, so people would know what counts as property, how a valid contract is formed, and who is to bear the cost of accidents. Napoleon supplied them by commissioning legal scholars to draft the rules called the Code Napoleon, which was promulgated in 1804. The scholars who drafted it took as their model the Corpus Juris Civilis, the body of the civil law, which was compiled and edited in AD 528 to 534 at the behest of the Roman Emperor Justinian.